So they'll be calling you a radical. Let's talk about opportunity costs that the nuclear energy crime scum cartel, which is nothing but a criminal enterprise, has sucked from this country. They have stole so much from every single human being, every living creature in this country. Right here, right now. Opportunity cost. Nuscale is the perfect metaphor. It's not even a metaphor. It's the perfect hardcore concrete evidence of the criminal enterprise called the nuclear energy crime scandal. Nuscale. Jose Reyes just sold $2.2 million worth of stock. Oh, that's not a lot of money? Oh, really? After what he's paid himself? So Nuscale, this little SMR nuclear reactor is going to save the world, which there is no such thing. So I'm the only person that fought him. I fought him from the inception inside the Utah State House. Play back the tape, Your Honor. I'm like, this is a fraud. This is a scam. The original funding was Kenwood Financial. I'm the guy that exposed Kenwood Financial was a South American gangster Ponzi scheme who's doing, I think, life in prison. I'm like, and then the government gives them a dime? Jose Reyes worked at Idaho National Lab with who? Oh no, he said something bad about my Lord and Savior Trumpy. I love Trumpy, orange cheese. I love Trumpy. He says I'm running to teacher. I'm running to the 7th grade. I'm the hall monitor. I'm running to Google. Blanche said something about Trumpy, the pro-nuker. Trumpy appointed her, Christina, as head of the NRC. That's how he got the license approved. What? They worked together at Idaho. I mean, talk about fraud. She's been removed. I mean, by one vote, they got it through. They've already come out and said, oh, no, he said something bad about my... Oh, I just love Obama Dumber. Obama Dumber. Oh, side with old man Biden. Blanche said something about him. Oh, because we're so hypnotized, indoctrinated politically. Somehow... people really think that this is some kind of battle between socialism and capitalism. This is so far removed from socialism and capitalism. Socialism. Socialism is redistribution of wealth into an equal fashion to all citizens. We're not even in the capitalism? Ask not what I can do for my country. Ask what I can do for... The people that will tell you how capitalistic they are all sucking on the government tit. Every one of them. The pork that flies out, including the pork that flies out to the nuclear industry, is by the trillions. Price Anderson, the congressional act that allows them to pull this off. I see bankrupt Westinghouse. Talk about the old players. They're back. Westinghouse went bankrupt. Took down Toshiba with them. World Bank bailed them out. Oh, they're back in business. They just signed a deal with who? Bechtel. God, let's go back to 1973. To build a nuclear reactor in Poland? Oh, fuck. Sure they are. Sure they are. Just like all their mock generational fives they spent billions and trillions to build in China. U.S. funded, by the way. I'm not shitting you. The most subsidized industry in the history of mankind. Nuclear energy. The opportunity costs they have sucked away from the sun. So if you don't know what opportunity cost is, there's so much wealth and there's so much resources go. So when one fake resource steals it all, and that's what they've done, the other ones are left behind. Sun, solar. We have the giant desert in the way. You go to Europe and they're like, what's the matter with you people? I've been in the United States. You have that giant desert. You could produce enough sun to freaking heat the world. Oh, well, we can't store it. Now tell me if, here we go. Scam likely. Why don't they clean that up? Scam likely. Because the government is scam likely. Why don't they clean that up? Because they're in on it. So, the opportunity cost, the sun. Now that would be a story if the Western United States had got cloudy for more than freaking a couple weeks. In Nevada, southern Nevada, the sun shines 330 days a year. Literally. Remember when you could sell it back in Nevada, your solar panels? I know people who are making residential homeowners are making $2,000-3,000 a month. A month. But it was a legislator from Utah who moved to Nevada. Now, why would they? Why would Governor, I'm going to be asking Governor Cox, ASAP. Me and him's going to have quite the conversation. I'm working on it right now. Why he is so pro-nuclear and funding Nuscale, and why there's not a lawsuit filed against Nuscale. Nuscale promised us 19 nuclear reactors, which I knew was a sham, by 2019 here. 19. So they got the only license that has been issued. Why would Cox get in bed with Bill Gates to build small nuclear reactors in Kemmer, Wyoming? What? Bill Gates, the most hated man in Utah. We had a trial here in 2011 against Bill Gates. That's right. Why weren't you there? I was in the bone marrow plants clinging to life, full of AML leukemia at LDSE State. That's how Utah I am. The hospital. The operating system was invented here. Remember WordPerfect? Had 99% of the market. Shift F13. Remember Novell? Remember US Robotics? Remember iOmega? All right, here, talk about the motley fools on Balco. Why would he get in bed with Bill Gates for Utah to fund SMRs? It's a fairy tale. So it's not going to suck money. They're already sucking money out of your utility bill, your power bill here in Utah. You're giving. Now, here's the sham, the pyramid scheme. Sam Altman says he's going to do it at Stanford. Sam-I-am, the crypto scam. Remember Bankman-Fried? Mom and Dad live in houses. They put up a house at Stanford that Stanford owns. They live on the campus for him to bail out of jail. That's no shit. Why would Cal? Cal's going to rebrand their... Cal's a that's a public school funded by the taxpayers of the state of California and the federal government. They're going to rebrand their logo? Well, what's wrong with the Golden Bears? Huh? Remember FTX was stamped on the field at Berkeley? I thought that was a Stanford guy. How about Elizabeth Holmes? So Altman, now Sam Altman says he's going to take his public. Okay. You're going to take your public. Not only does he have a license, the NRC sent back his application and said no, rejected. They usually just send it back, retool, do this, do that, then that'll go on for decades. Because they know there's no say. They sent it, they says, no, this thing don't work. The only person that confronted the NRC in the history, I confronted Alice McFarland toe-to-toe, face-to-face. Go ask her about this. About, the cover-up of Fukushima. The opportunity cost has been sucked away from solar. Look, we have a grid. The sunshine from the Mojave Desert can be at Times Square at the speed of light. Why is everything not solar in Utah? I mean, it's sunny all the time. Yeah, well, we can't, shit. Norway's dark, Norway, Denmark, all of them. It's dark 6 months a year there. We're getting there. They're all solar. That whole argument you placed out that the nuclear cartel puts into the domain, and because of the propaganda machine. Oh, there's a renaissance in uranium. There were 410 nuclear reactors worldwide. Oh, look at this duck on the pond. When Fukushima happened. Let's see, 50 offline in Japan. They're not going back on. How about Germany had 20? They're all offline. How about in the United States? Oh, we built one. Yay. Vogel's going online in Georgia. Okay, when's that going to happen? How many billions and trillions freaking later? San Onofre, 2 reactors there. Down, gone. Duane Arnold, down, gone. Palisades, down. Oh, they're going to reopen Palisades. TikTok, Diablo Canyon Clock. How about Oyster Creek? Multiple reactors there. All the reactors in Pennsylvania are going down. I have gone down, lots of them. How about Pilgrim up there in Boston? Go Patriots. Down. By the way, did you see the old timer? I mean, these guys that are 50-something years old, totally in horrible health, they're all passionate football fans and want to fight other fans. You're a little old, buddy. So these guys start a fight with each other, and one of them takes a stroke and dies. I mean, it happens all the time. It's ridiculous. You're too old for that type of behavior. But these little kids, again, the immaturity, I mean, it's a selfishness plague. The United States baby boomers have a serious immaturity issue. None of them ever grew up. More proof. You're going to get in a fight at a freaking football game when you're in your 50s and 60s and you're completely out of shape. Well, good luck. That adrenaline, your heart's not going to like it. Oyster Creek. How about Indian Point in New York? Come all the way down. You know, so many. It was supposed to go down at Palo Verde in Arizona, but they bailed them out. It was supposed to go down in Ohio. My favorite's Ohio. I was so heavily involved. Status King Cuomo, get out your bailout sign. Get out your bailout sign. My bailout sign's been all over the world. All over the world. I'm rehabbing from heart. I was born with a birthday defect. I've been fighting cancer for 12 years, and I was given no chance to live. I went into Beaumont on 11/11/11. Think about that compelling story. I had open heart surgery again this year. They wouldn't listen to me. My valve, I'm like, they replaced my bad heart valve, which was delicate surgery in 2017. And I knew it never worked properly. It's my valve. No, it's not. It's not. It blew up, ruptured my artery. I have a pacemaker. The whole works now. Harvesting an artery out of my leg. I'm rehabbing. You know, so my favorite on all the bailout, you know, in Utah, it's disgusting what Jose Reyes has done and crew. So Jose Reyes, I'll post the link. It's public information on insider sales. That's public domain. You know, I'm an old derivative guy. I'm an old trader. Hell, I taught that class here. This is the number one school business in the country. Boy, did I have a lot of blood transfusions. Oh, did I have a lot of blood transfusions. So, Jose Reyes has sold $2.2 million worth of stock recently at $11. The stock's getting ready to go under $5. It's at $5.30. If it goes under $5, they all know. They're jumping off the ship like they are. Don't drop your dry gas container. Idaho National Lab. That is one big sham up there. So, in Ohio is my favorite. So when they first started this bailout shit, because they're closing them all down across the country. So in New York, Indian Point goes down, but so was 9 Mile Point, 9 Mile Island, 3 times worse than 3 Mile Island. So is Guiani, so is Fitzpatrick. All of them done, down. We're shutting, we're out. They sold them for pennies on the dollar. Who? From Illinois come in there and bought them. And then went right to Status King Cuomo and said, we need money. I remember walking through the New York airport. I'm coming home from Italy. That's when I flew on the plane with Donovan Mitchell. I didn't even really know who he was. Well, we got to know each other. I warned him about Utah, by the way. And I got my San Onofre shirt on. He says, God, we got to keep San Onofre open. This is the New York City police office. And I'm like, San Onofre shut down a long time ago. They're done. It's over. Oh, God, that's too bad. I said, why do you care? Well, we protect our union. Union? They ain't union. They use fake union workers. I proved that. The buses come in. So Status King Cuomo, the mob, the Nuclear Energy Crime Syndicate, went right to Cuomo and just didn't even ask. With no legislative process, give us 7.6, not million, billion. And the city that never sleeps in New York. I worked with the group that went door to door in New York City. Knock, knock. Hey, would you be willing to pay a little extra on your bill to have all wind and solar? No coal, no natural gas, no heating oil, no nuclear. Oh yeah, we hate Indian Point. You know, they stole that money illegally and handed it to nuclear energy. So in Ohio, after they saw that, God, that was easy. Let's go house to house, state to state. They did it all over, including Utah. We don't even make it. We just store it in the toilet. In Idaho, we fire up Idaho National Lab, which has been what a scam that is. Ohio, I got those texts when they're just going at us, viciously attacking us, literally, and it got outed that this was the nuclear industry was committing all kinds of crimes. They were bribing politicians like they did all over. They bribed them all over the country. But the FBI office in Cleveland went after them. And they found it, dug it out, investigated. Larry Householder, who's the lead politician in the entire state, besides the governor, the House Majority Speaker, $60 million they gave him. $60 million. He got caught. He's went through the whole process, legal process. He's in prison doing 20 years in a federal prison. One of the other ones shot himself. Two others are getting ready to go to prison. Proved it. The Browns can't win again because the stadium was named after the same company that bribed them, First Energy. Here's some more. I pulled the name off recently, I heard. Here we go. They're trying to come in here. This should be interesting, right? This is their home. It's that time of year, right? They're migrating. They're like, what the hell? What the hell happened to our home? Why would you take a perfectly good natural wetland and turn it into a concrete? Well, the one kid told me he thought it was a new skate park. I said, looks like a spent fuel pools to me for San Onofre. They bring the waste here. So, back to Ohio. I went back to Ohio, my city. The Ohio is so indoctrinated after the bribes, after the corruption, goes to prison, proves hundreds of millions of bribes by two politicians, they still build them out. They still did it. They're like, where can we land? Is there enough water here? This is our home. We were born here. We've been resting here for 35 years. What? Oh, there goes the greenwashing bus. Where do we get electricity from in Utah, kiddies? Oh, you got it. Fossil fuels. They're like, our pond's gone. What? So, in Ohio, the degenerate voters there are so sick and so degenerate. By the way, isn't Vance the new senator here? Mitt Romney even ripped him. I have a video of him right there. Why would the University of Weber State and Governor Cox be giving him awards before he was running? I don't know who pulls those freaking puppets strings, but talk about puppets. They're like, what the hell? They're confused, ain't they? Oh boy. They're like, oh my God. They're migrating, heading south for the winter. Ohio's still building them out. That's right, they built them out. You can't make it up. So it takes two to tango, right, Bobby? So there's obviously people that bribe them. Which is the bigger crime? The people that bribe them or the bribees? Equal, right? It's equal crime under the United States law, under the Ohio law, under all laws. How come there's no charges against the people that bribed them? Again, because I told you, the Nuclear Energy Crime Syndicate, the Untouchables. If you don't think that, you're not paying attention. How could they cover up Fukushima? How could they control the whole media? How could they control every politician? Oh, they did it. Not Gunu did it. The opportunity cost has been sucked away by the nuclear energy. The Nuclear Energy Crime Syndicate is the greatest organized crime syndicate, the most evil in the history of mankind. It is the biggest lie. Nuclear energy, clean, green, too cheap, is the biggest lie in human history. And next time somebody tells you about how clean nuclear energy is, I want you to just ask them to explain the centrifuge process. In a nuclear energy reactor, we don't use uranium-238. Uranium-238 comes out the earth natural, right? That's not what's in a nuclear energy reactor. In a nuclear energy reactor, we use uranium-235. How do we get uranium-238 to 235? Tell them to explain that to you. And that's what's in a nuclear energy reactor. Oh, that process that's called the centrifuge process. We don't split atoms. We collide atoms. That process. So Russia, the proxy war, went off to Afghanistan to kill the Taliban. Went off to Iraq to get a big old sack. Went on to Vietnam to kill the Viet Cong. Lies, tell me lies, tell me. Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. Pat Tillman fight up 9 million Al-Qaeda, freaking boogeyman boogie. We spent hundreds and hundreds of trillions of dollars to go get, supposedly 10,000 Taliban in Afghanistan. Jessica Lynch got a Medal of Honor for valor when she was hunkered down in jail. Had to sue Congress to give it back. George W. Bush won Florida in no. So I'm saying it was no. Multiple myeloma, that's an easy disease to survive. Oh, really? Then you go tell Rumsfeld that. You go tell Colin Powell that. No, it's not. I don't eat, sleep, drink this. I sleep with it, literally. So, back to Ohio. They bailed them out anyway, and they didn't go after. So here in Utah, I'm the only one fighting them. This is a sham. This is a sham. These guys are going to get rich. So how did the sham work? How did the sham work? They get government funding, government funding, government funding. Never put up any of their own money. The whole Kenwood scam was a fraud. No money. Government money, government money. Live high off government money. Oregon State's in on it. Corvallis. Tim Martin was up there. Said they were driving around Bugattis. Literally. Up there. Corvallis. Nuscale people. Then they decided to take it public. Why would so-called investors, the Silicon Valley crowd, why would they possibly invest something they know is a fraud? Because they're in on it. Why would these venture capitalists, crooks, go? Real simple. They're like, okay, we know that the government is going to support this. So its IPO price was set at 10. Usually you get a little bump. Not this piece of shit stock. No revenue, no product, just government pork. So they take it public. The government will freaking fund it and support the stock price for a while at the IPO so it doesn't fall down to help give it support, get it on its legs. When everybody hyperinflation, when your Lord and Savior, Trump, I was in front of the White House, two mutually exclusive of each other, young preachers, on different days, were calling Trump their Lord and Savior. I said, Lord and Savior, don't I think that's a little far stretch? When's he going to turn holy water into wine? I told them both. Of course, you should hear him with Obama. Obama, let's see, all you lefties on your knees for Obama, he lost 12 Senate seats. 12! Most in U.S. history. Yeah, he drove more people than freaking Bush. And he ran on the anti-war. Got to go talk to Henry before I go to Fukushima. What? That's Hillary Clinton's emails. The plume's coming over us now. It's safe. I'm flying out of the country. Bye. You're indoctrinated. Socialism versus capitalism? It's imperialism. Don't you see it's imperialism? Tax the future. Get to my friends. We're going to have another budget debate for the umpteenth time. The first heavy one was in 2011. April, right after Fukushima. I'm the guy that coined the term. They want to kill Bert and Ernie. All that debt, they end up with a sacrificial lamb. You got to pull the food inspection from Fukushima. The fish inspection, you got to pull the food in. Came down to sacrificial lamb or pull the plug on Bert and Ernie. PBS. Which they already sold that to the Koch brothers, which is the Koch brother now, because they all think they're above all this. Oh, they pulled the food inspection. Who's pulling these puppets' freaking strings? The puppet master who owned the Nuclear Energy Crime Center. Go talk to Henry before I go. Oh. Henry Kissinger on CBS Sunday Morning. Interviewed by Ted Koppel. Ted Koppel's what? 83-year-old interviewing a 100-year-old. Didn't Ted Koppel break the story on Chernobyl here in the U.S.? If you put in a call to Putin, would he tell you? Yeah, you got his number, yeah. If you called Xi in China, would he? Yeah. Got to go talk to Henry before I go to Fukushima. The same time that Obama stood on the Rose Garden and told us the plane was coming over, it's safe. When we know it wasn't safe. I was working right up there. outside. And we know we got hit hard here. We know we got hit hard. You go talk to my doctors. My doctor will tell you what a heavy, hardcore outbreak we had in the fall of 2011. There's 44 of us in there. Some of the most famous cancer patients in the history of the country were in there with me. Kevin Carr, Marshall. I'm the only one alive. I didn't get those emails. Hillary's emails were Homer or Hillary. If you go outside, don't go outside. The plume is coming over us. Don't take any chances. But if you do, take a shower, wash your clothes. We didn't get those emails. And then the government goes along with this. Senator Wyden was head of the committee. I used to talk to him all the time. He went to Fukushima multiple times. And that's worse than I thought, he reported to Congress. Barbara Boxer's office, I worked with her. She was head of the committee. She went crazy about Fukushima. Allison McFarland raided her office. The head of the NRC, Allison McFarland, went, you have no congressional right. I asked Allison about it right to her face. The only person that did it. While I'm in then I went and slept on the beach in my sleeping bag. Keynote speaker on the Senate upgrade shutdowns. Now think about this, at the Omni, $1,000 a night rooms that the NRC's staying in. Everybody else, Kevin Blanche, sleeps in a sleep bag full of cancer on the beach. What a compelling story. So they bailed them all out. So the opportunity cost has been sucked away. Jose Reyes, so they take it public. Stock bumps a little bit to 14. Everybody's like, what a great. I said, no, everything's bumping. This is all this debt that Trump and Biden dumped out. $33 trillion in debt? Well, I wonder what caused psycho hyperinflation. Remember when Volcker was head of the Fed? I shook his hand right over there. #1 school business in the country when I taught here. Now they're under investigation for influence to China by the FBI. How's that possible? Good, Bertie. Good. Who's pulling their strings? Go ask Governor Tucker. I'll be asking him. Who's pulling your strings on Nuscale? How come we're not going after? They promised us 19 reactors by 29. They didn't deliver, did they? They didn't deliver anything, but we paid for them. So they take it public. Now all the insiders, it's public domain. I've been tracking it, are dumping stock like crazy. Reyes just dumped $2.2 million worth. They never put up any of their money. They ain't got a product. They ain't got shit. They ain't got nothing. They just, and all funded by Utah. The only municipality, we signed a deal here. We signed a deal. The only money that's really forked over is Utah. It comes right out of your bill. I'm part of the group that got AMPS through. AMPS was for wind and solar. They stole it. I'm like, what are you talking? I'm the only one that fought it to change that inside the legislative process. This is fraud to the 10th. This is some of the greatest fraud ever. So he's rich. They see the stock crashing. If it goes under $5, it gets delisted and becomes a penny stock. They know what they're doing. They just got rich off this Ponzi scheme. They will never deliver an SMR here. Never. Same with Bill Gates. I talked to those guys in Wyoming. I was like, how are you all amped up on Bill Gates going to save you? No, he's not. There are no SMRs. They get the federal funding. They all know this. Gates knows this. The money just flows to them. And under the Congressional Act called Price-Anderson, it's called the Immunity Act. Anything nuclear, they don't have to pay it back. They all know it. It's free. Oh, it's billions and billions of trillions. They all know that. What it's done is it destroys opportunity costs. The opportunity costs have been sucked out by the nuclear industry in the last 80 years is staggering. It's the greatest freaking opportunity cost loot in the history of the world. Now, the thing that blows my mind is all the propaganda out there, the tank water fallacy, that had all that cesium-137 get into the fish in May. They didn't start dropping until August 24th. 18,000 becquerels in the rockfish of cesium-130 in 2011, in 2012, in 2020. I presented the data over and over and over because I am the type of work. I do the work. I don't just regurgitate. Angela Merkel's a nuclear physicist in Germany. I will quote Oppie himself. By the way, Oppenheimer, the movie, is probably the best anti-nuclear piece ever. It makes the nuclear industry look like the scumbags that they are. Oppenheimer is one of the creepiest human beings who ever walked the face of it. The only one that's probably could be creepier than Oppenheimer is Truman. You know that Leo wrote the letter, not Einstein, and the Department of Energy is still telling you that Einstein wrote the letter. Einstein was so fiercely anti-nuclear, it was unbelievable. Hell of a way to boil water. Kevin Blanche, hell of a way to boil a planet. Einstein, metal boron, fractal physics on Balco, Blanche. Plutonium, never happened before. Albert Einstein, if we ever have this freaking meltdown, this genie gets out of the bottle, we're going to see it mutate and change every piece of biology on the face of the earth. Well, what about the animals? What about the humans? Albert Einstein. Humans are animals. Well, will they adapt? Yes, in 50 generations. You're telling me it doesn't mutate? It doesn't change? I can't even talk about where I hypothesized the demic came from? What about the mink? How did it get in the mink? They eat freaking dead fish and whales from the ocean. Mutually exclusive. You ignore the science. Angela Merkel's a nuclear physicist. She come out after Fukushima. We're done. Over. Hasta la vista. Oppenheimer's own words in 1940. Manhattan Project. If the Germans want this first, they will have it first. They're the best nuclear physicists in the world. J. Robert Oppenheimer, 1940. Angela Merkel, nuclear physicist, Germany, relying on the other nuclear. No, we're done. 20 nuclear reactors, state-of-the-art reactor, one of the most sophisticated ones in the world, that just barely getting ready to go online. Shut them down. Oppenheimer dropped it anyway. After Leo, who wrote the letter, Salazar, by the way, Oppenheimer died young of cancer. So did Fermi. Bezos was born at Los Alamos. Look up Bezos' mother's, to a 14-year-old mother. Look up Bezos' grandfather. Oh, the original spokesman for the Department of Atomic, which is now, they just changed their name to the Department of Energy, which the Army Corps of Engineers is part of that. And the Army Corps of Engineers classifies Kevin Lynch. The live can's been off on the Columbia. The salmon collapse or the smoking gun. I do science. So the opportunity cost has been looted is outrageous. Do you know what this country would be? It's like when the oil industry rolled in here and decided we're going to tear out all the streetcars. People don't even know the entire country had nothing but streetcars. Well, people don't even know that the European invaders stole this land from native indigenous people. They don't even know that story. That how many millions of native indigenous people lived here? They don't know that there were streetcars all over this country. Everywhere. And the oil industry and the auto industry come in and just, they don't know that. We should have solar cars. We have solar buses, solar trains. This technology, especially here in the Western United States. We have a grid at the speed of light. The opportunity cost that's been stolen by the nuclear industry is sad. Reyes sells $2.2 million worth of stock. Now, I asked Sean Reyes, the Reyes guy, are you related to this guy? He says, absolutely not. I asked him at the Bear River Massacre of all places. Why would they be there? Cox is so ignorant. At the Bear River Massacre, he spoke. We're here for the first time. Why? Because this was Utah territory. I wait till he got done. I said, Spencer, this is when he's lieutenant governor. This was never Utah territory. What do you mean? I said, this was Washington territory. Franklin, Idaho was Washington territory. That's not what we were told. Told? I thought you were running for governor. I asked him right there about the nuclear waste coming to Energy Solutions. I asked him about the SMRs. He played like he didn't really understand, didn't know what I was talking about. As soon as he becomes governor, he signs a deal with Bill Clinton. We're paying for it now. You in Utah, as a ratepayer, are giving Bill Gates money today. Yesterday. Now, not going to. It comes out of your light bill. It's called amps. And it's flowing to these guys. So the pyramid scheme at Nuscale, he dumps all the stock. The stock's being ready to be delisted. It's $5. They have no product. They have no thing. They've come right out and told the NRC on the fake bullshit freaking. That should have never happened. There should have been lawsuits, but what? What? Greenpeace, Friends of the Earth? Friends of the Earth, I love how they're fighting. They're the reason Diablo Canyon's there. Greenpeace, I call them Greed Peace, sold us down the river a long time ago. You have a grassrooter. Come on, how many times I've been in Idaho National? My friend owns the whole city, Thomas. How many times? I presented Paul, my buddy who was born and raised there, who died of leukemia the same day. I gave Alex McFarland his obituary. It's online. Head of the NRC. Go at it with freaking Harry Reid. Me and him used to. I'm destroying all this nuclear waste on site. All the historic work I've done. And they're dumping the stock on the pyramid scheme. Oh, we got venture capitalists love it. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, wings, we will pretend. I was telling a guy right here. I said, oh, God, I'm getting sick of that here now. And he used that old freaking narrative. Sound of freedom. Sound of freedom. If that's freedom, I'm a freaking rainbow striped freaking giraffe, I told him. That's the sound of military looters. It's outrageous. 33 trillion in debt. That's not what, I mean, it's outrageous. When I'm in Afghanistan to kill the Taliban, when I'm in Iraq, nobody from Afghanistan, nobody from Iraq laid a finger on. When they could pull that scam off on 9/11, they were Saudis. Now Saudi's going to get enriched uranium. What could go wrong? Weren't they Saudis that did 9/11, 16 and the 19? Now they're going to have enriched uranium? How come everything was banned from Russia except for enriched uranium? What's enriched uranium? The centrifuge process. They spin it, they gas it, it has a 97 byproduct, including plutonium. It's the most nasty, that's what's in a nuclear reactor. No place for the waste, stored all over hell. Freaking the cost of building these things, the footprint is outrageous. It's dirty, it's filthy, it's dangerous, it's poison. I knew John Goff. Talk about poison power. They're all rolling in their graves. How did we get here? How did we get here? You can only be hypnotized if you want to be hypnotized. How did they do it? One, by gesturing. Two, by cable TV. Scientists are mystified. They're baffled. They're stumped. They're perplexed. They're curious. No, they're handcuffed with their golden handcuffs because they think they're serfs. It's full-blown out neo-feudalism. It's imperialism. We have Lord Bezos, Lord Gates, Lord Musk. They're not politicians. They're not even scientists. Trump, Obama, trained the trilogy, the three countries. They're nothing but serfs. All these government employees, these academics, they're serfs. They're nothing but serfs. Indentured slaves, you seen who's cleaning your toilets, making your beds, cooking your food? The construction workers, you seen who they are? Being paid cash, being exploited. I mean, being backhanded by my next door neighbor in the face for asking for a paycheck. Activists like myself, I'm under the pyramid. Who's the top of the pyramid? Edward Snowden on 60 Minutes, who was paid to kill anonymous, no doubt in my mind. He's a special forces guy. Twiggy? I don't think so. My dad was special. So was my uncle. Look at my uncle Claude's obituary. I'll spoil you of special forces. Look at my dad. I mean, those two. Oh, physical beasts. Pat Tillman used to remind me of my dad so much. Just brilliant, physical, just charisma. Same with my Uncle Claude. That's people that raised me. My Uncle Harold, Omaha Beach, D-Day. They were special forces. Oh boy. Air Blast 1. Nuked me to death in Nevada tests. I tried to make a sequel out of the sun. Edward Snowden on 60 Minutes. I was the number one guy. I had top surveillance clearance. I was the number one hacker in the world, self-proclaimed. I had the very top clearance in the CIA. I got hacking around and found there's another top. What? Who's the other top? Global oligarchs. Got to go talk to Henry. Now, where's he sitting? Next to one of the greatest global oligarchs. I mean, he just blew the guy out of the plane, Hanukkah. But we love him. What? Oh, you're talking one of the most evil global oligarchs in history. Tsar Putin. He's not a president. He's a czar. King Z. Wannabe. Geezers. Wannabe Caesars. The two old geezers going at each other again. Oh, Biden versus Trump. That's it? The Fukushima cover-up? I asked Trump from here to there. You talking about Fukushima? Yes. On made Foxes, did he? He met with the beast 17 times. What happened to the beast blows my mind. On 60 Minutes, Leslie Stahl to Lake Barrett. I know Lake Barrett. My friend Mark. Well, Kevin, this is 2014, 2013. Kevin Blanche says that these are full-blown out meltdowns and the media's just covering for them, blah, blah, blah. We don't even know what this power is, and it's genocide in the Pacific Ocean. Well, Kevin Blanche is right. Lake Barrett, to my friend Mark. Mark's his maintenance guy. He's the guy in his yard. Well, that's not what you said on TV, Lake. I had to tell him, Lake Barrett's the cover-up of 3 Mile Island. Maybe we can wait for Netflix if he's about to resort up here to make a documentary in the year 2525 in Madison. a wink, we will pretend. Because that's what American booters are made of. And in the end, boom, TikTok, the Apple Canyon clock. I thought he was going to South America with Julian Assange. Look what they did to Aaron Swartz. He downloaded the server. Why do you think he's downloading the server? Don't you think that was all about Fukushima? I do Aaron Swartz personally. It's a non-violent crime. Downloading the server. I'm in the courtroom today. Give me 35 years? Hey, man, NRT, what? For a non-violent crime, downloading the server? We know who's got control of this country. The Nuclear Energy Crime Center. The opportunity cost of looted is outrageous. It's outrageous. And we just got had in Utah, and we're going to just let him get away with it. Sean Reyes, the Attorney General, Kevin, it's online. I don't even know what these little SMRs are. I said, they're being tested right over there, supposedly. He turned around and did about face and wake, and he said, I want to make this perfectly clear. I am not related to the red. Okay. Again, it's the legislative process that did this. He didn't do it. I get that. Governor Cocksure signed the deal too with Bill Gates, though. Executive, legislative, judicial. What's the three branches of government in the United States? CIA, NSA, CFR. You get away with this here in Utah. And you got one person, me. I'm the guy that put the dagger to Blue Castle. Remember I used to walk around Channing and thing when I pull up, suck up cans with center line? Blue Castle, nuclear reactor on the green. Why not put up a statue of Ted Bundy on I-15? I'm the one that exposed that it was the hedge fund that was the original funding. Lead Dog, I do that with fraud. I'm an ex-hedge fund guy. I taught the #1 school of business in the country right there. I'm the derivative guy on hedging portfolios. I used to teach people how to do it. When we were #1, private school beating war, when Musk was going to war. Beating Harvard. Beating, a public institution, iceberg. Why would they destroy that? With a puppet master's tokens. It's sickening. Both parties are bowing. The opportunity cost has been stole. That's what I'm going to tag this. By the Nuclear Energy Crime Syndicate, which is the biggest loot job. I mean, it's disturbing. Even China's rushing forward with so-called alternative. It's a long video. So I've been telling Weaver, what are you doing with this? Why would you tear out a perfectly good marsh and wetland? Drain the swamp! They didn't drain the swamps. Instead, the Supreme Court's ruled that we can go ahead and legally drain the wetlands. Look it up. Unbelievable. Because of generational arrogance. Everyone thinks they're above this. They're not. I call leukemia the reverse lottery. We're having a light the night here on the 12th for the first one, October. I didn't start it. This young woman did, but I'm thrilled. You're not above it. He doesn't care about race, doesn't care about sexuality, doesn't care about sexual orientation, doesn't care about really age, it doesn't care about anything. It's so indiscriminate. I mean, and if you don't think nuclear fallout causes cancer, okay, Madam Curie, because that's who you all are. And you're going to go along. When's somebody inside going to break ranks? I mean, this is outrageous what they've done. And I knew it from the beginning. This is a Ponzi. This is a shakedown. This is a sham to make people rich. Everybody's going to get on. I mean, Gates is in on it now. Always has. Nuscale set the business model. Altman says he's going to do it. At Stanford. Venture capitalists, why would they? Because they know they get it placed a little bit cheaper. Like they'll private place it. They probably placed Nuscale probably at $6 a share, sold it at $12. They know that it's free money. Then the insiders dump and ride off into the sunset. Oh, sorry, our bad didn't work. And you can't go after them under the federal congressional, but you can at the state level because it's fraud. They did it in Ohio. I'll really give it to the Ohio FBI. I mean, talk about some guts, but they didn't charge the bribees, did they? No, because they're the Nuclear Energy Crime Center. And if I haven't proven that, if Fukushima doesn't prove to you, how can you cover up 3 full more doubts? And they're going to tell you that 1 is more than 3. Oh, the crippled reactors, the disabled reactors. Yeah, crippled. The crippled reactors, yeah, crippled like the Twin Towers on 9/11. 9/11 to 3/11. But they're going to tell you, Orwell, it becomes as natural as occupying a bird refuge. Go ask a person if they think cows are native and natural in the United States. Go ask them. Oh, yeah, yeah. I watch Bonanza. I grew up in a subdivision. I watch every rerun and every freaking show of Bonanza. I'm going to be a rancher. I grew up in a trailer court. I'm going to lease some government land, get me some cattle, and learn to ride a horse. It's like my daughter, this kid that was hanging around with me, my friend, when she was little, my daughter. He's all dressed up in his boots and his slack, his cowboy outfit. She says, "Cowboy, huh?" "Yeah." She looked right at me, and she's about 6. "Don't you got to have a horse to be a cowboy? Horses don't need to be. It becomes as natural as unleashing cattle onto the Great Salt Lake marsh. Because it's natural, turning a natural wetland into a concrete pond. Comes as natural as invading Iraq when they were Saudis, and now they're getting enriched uranium. It's unfucking believable. But this is Orwell and Balco. Orwell couldn't dream this up on 2 hits of acid and a bucket full of hallucinogenic mushrooms. He could have Carol, Alice in Wonderland down the rabbit hole. They could get together and couldn't pull it off. One reactor at Chernobyl, a graphite reactor that had no spent fuel, was brand new, blew up 780,000 men in two. Versus 3 4 meltdowns, most likely 4, but we'll go with their narrative on 3. At least 7 spent fuel pools, 8. Full of MOX fuel, some of the biggest load of spent fuel on Earth, including MOX fuel. People don't even know what MOX fuel is. Weapons grade. It's against the law in the United States with the 51st state, Japan, Yalta by the Sea. Remember? We took Japan. Obama said it. The only true thing he ever said. These trees were sung long before I was born. Yalta by the Sea, when we divided up the world, we took Japan. We run that dog and Lake Barrett to Leslie Stahl in 60 minutes. This is like going to the moon to clean this up. Way bigger than that, Lake Barrett to Leslie Stahl in 60 minutes. This has never happened before. Where's these cores? Is it hole over there? We don't know. We sent robot after robot after robot. We can't get near them. The China syndrome, which I named Delmar Argentina. Fukushima's proved China syndrome is very real. Where are these cores? Everybody saw this tritium tank water fallacy. Where's the cores? This is an ongoing event. Don't you see? Fukushima is not fixed. It's not. It's an ongoing. And they're going to propaganda. Germany just shut theirs down because of Fukushima. Look at they have protesting all over Asia. I've been all over the world. See the protests. How about Kevin Blanch organizing the protests here? 7 million people, the Million Mass March. I invented that, me and John Anthony Farrer. Based on the freaking back of the Fukushima disaster. Look at the original speech I gave. Fukushima, Fukushima, Fukushima. 7 million people. Oh, you think that nuclear meltdowns, we're afraid of nuclear meltdowns, we're afraid of nuclear meltdowns until we get nuclear meltdowns. See no nuclear. Why we say they crashed Radnet on March 12th. You do know that March 11th they took it. What's Radnet? The radiation detection work we paid for. Taxpayers billed all over. The Gene McCarthy took it offline. You couldn't even find. Oh, it's all coincidence. The live cam out on the grace. The tide pool's dead at your feet, Edie. Kevin Blanch's story. The salmon collapse all in a queue. That's science. Where's the course? It's an ongoing event. The opportunity cost of the nuclear energy crime syndicate is sucked out. Is staggering. Don't drop your dry cask container, Blanche. Next time somebody says they're pro-nuclear energy, 1 word, Fukushima. 2, ask them about the centrifuge process, how we get the uranium-235 from 238 natural, which we use in a nuclear energy. Ask them to explain that to you. They won't even know what you're talking about. I'm a butcher, what's a cow? I'm a baker, what's a cake? I'm a fisherman, what's a boat? I'm a zoologist. I'm a biologist at Weber State University. The University of Nuclearism. What? Wasn't he the CEO of GE? Yep. What's a nuclear meltdown? Fukushima. Stay tuned.